I don't know, like all of us, especially women, we care about what people think.
Hi, welcome to Where Writers Write, the show that takes you to the creative spaces of your favourite writers. I'm Daisy Aitkens, I'm a writer.
And I'm Georgia Tennant, I'm the driver.
Look, you're just leaving out actress producer altogether now. You're like, I am just the fucking driver. I didn't know.
Can I put this down, all this bottom of it?
Yeah, it does a bit.
I can't see anything.
Oh, actually, wait, no, maybe not. Let's try. That's just,
oh, is that better?
Today we're speaking to Asia Mackay, who is an author, a screenwriter, and brilliant creative powerhouse. She's written 3 books. Her first one, Killing It, she started in 2019 when she was on maternity leave for her 3rd child. Not usually something you do on your maternity leave. I just watched Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you normally just take some time off.
Yeah.
Start an entirely new career.
And it did very well. In fact, it got something. Became a runner-up in both the Richard and Judy Search for a Bestseller and the Comedy Woman in Print Prize.
It was a good night.
Asia started life...
As an embryo.
We're going right back.
This is her origin story.
The truth is, we have done this intro already, and we've already interviewed her, and we're now doing it whilst just driving round.
Yeah.
You know, let's just be honest.
We
let's
were
put it all out there.
sparkly the first time, weren't we?
We were.
Yeah.
But someone's mic wasn't on.
You gave it to me and it wasn't on.
Oh,
the
crew, someone on the crew who
Yeah.
you don't know the name of. It was their responsibility.
Mike. It's
Oh,
Mike.
it's Mike in the back. They're all just hidden round here.
Yeah.
Sound guy, hey.
He's in the
Don't make eye contact with me, thank you. After that, she did the follow-up in 2019 called The Nursery, following the same character. And she has this year written A Serial Killer's Guide to Marriage, which I did read. I read half of it and I listened to half of it because this lady was reading it beautifully.
Thank you. What I really liked in that interview, because now I'm going to imagine that
Now we've
people
just,
know
let's
we've
just,
done it.
we've
I'll
told
change
you.
my hair, so there's like a sort of... Okay.
I think it's just like we've told them.
Oh, okay.
We've told them we fucked up.
A visual clue to the time. I'm shinier than I was in
Yeah,
the
me
first.
too.
Yeah.
Makeup is really bad on this shoot. I don't know.
Sorry, Carol's gotta go.
Yeah, she's done. Carol, you're out.
Mike's gonna do it instead. It is the bit when she was talking about her writing journey, and every time she talked about it, she had to sort of, my writing journey, like she couldn't, it's almost like she can't quite believe she's a serious writer. I mean, not a serious, you know, a writer.
Yeah, a published author.
Everything all feels a bit ick to her.
Yeah.
But that's very charming.
It is very charming because it's quite rare. Because creative people,
They like to wang on, don't they?
oh, they love it. They love a bit of a wang on. I would wang on completely. I would get right in there. I shouldn't include that.
That's what
I should so not include that because every other person who's been interviewed will be like, all right, I was trying to fill your half an hour.
Wang on.
Yeah, thanks. Asia studied anthropology at Durham University. She then worked on the show The Motorcycle Diaries, and she also went to Shanghai and presented a TV show. You see, we've already done this.
We've done this
in the previous bit.
First time you told me that she presented a TV show.
Yeah, you have to pretend that's the first time you've heard again.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And she presented a TV show in Shanghai.
What?
I know.
No, there's no way that she presented a TV show.
She did.
No, absolutely not. If she presented a TV show, I will eat my hat.
Well, later you'll be eating your hat, but that won't come because later has already been because we've already filmed the interview.
So meta. It turns out it is true. She did present a TV show, which
she did.
I mean, this is not a woman who enjoys a camera being on her.
No, she only did this because
we made her do it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Do I look pregnant in the trout?
Oh, you got to imagine if I started like that. So congratulations.
Yes.
I see you're pregnant. That'd be a really Asia, thanks so much for having us. This is such a beautiful office.
Thank you.
This is a beautiful office. It's not yours.
It is borrowed off my husband. Yeah.
So I have all these questions about your office space and you're going to be like, I don't know, I don't work here.
Yeah, well, no, basically. But no, I do work here when I'm allowed to, more when I kick him out and decide it's a better place for me to be away from all the noise of kids and dogs.
Right.
Like on a Zoom. You can't really have a Zoom in the house with them all running around.
Do you have like a specific Zoom corner?
Just here.
But it has all this
It has,
loveliness
but
in the back.
I'm a big fan of the blurrer, the background blur. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Although it's quite weird sometimes when you mould back into it and then you blur.
Feels like you're really concentrating on those zooms.
You're just like everyone half the time on the Zoom, they're kind of just looking at themselves, like saying, "Oh, I look really serious when I say that."
Yeah, that's why I can't have a Zoom,
it's
because I'm
really
too
hard.
self-obsessed. I'll just like check myself out. Yeah, it's really hard. And you find that you have to work where things are a bit quiet, ordered.
I've worked out I can work anywhere that my children aren't. It's that simple. And I think when I started writing, I was really precious, and I was like, it's got to be a perfect space. I've got to feel really zen. There's got to be quiet. And now I can literally, I write on the tube sometimes. Like if I'm, if I'm on the tube going into Soho, 35 minutes or so, I'm there with my little laptop or my notepad.
Amazing!
Yeah, I like to use those dead moments so I can feel superior to everyone else who's just scrolling.
Yeah, and you're like, look at me, 4th novel.
Mobile off.
If you're writing everywhere, you probably don't have any kind of like rituals or anything when you start writing.
My ritual is I drop the kids off. I have a large breakfast. I sit down with a cup of tea, get up to date on all the news. When I say news,
we've just been talking about Blake Lively and
some really vacuous shit just to make me feel guilty about reading it and therefore rush to work.
Right.
And then I do sit and play it. So I suppose a cup of tea is the start, and that's it really. And then I'm off.
But it can be any space. You like work. You obviously tubes, cafe.
Yeah, cafes I can only do if I've got actually wherever I'm out and about, as long as I've got headphones. Right. I play blasting. Either really shit music so I don't get into it, or there's a thing on Spotify called rain noise.
Oh yeah.
And I put that on, and it's quite good just for drowning out. Otherwise, I find I keep listening to other people's conversations. Oh, and in a car, I've got my brother once got me this really. It was such a middle-aged gift. I can't believe he got it for me, but it's been one of my favourite things. It's a little. I think I've sent George a picture before. It's a little fold-out table. So it's like a granny table. It's like more for TV dinners if you can just prop it up. But it's got adjustable legs. So I sometimes use it in bed, do a bit of typing. We sometimes drive out to France, which is 12 hours. So then I set myself up in the back of the car because one of my kids has car sickness, he claims, so has to sit in the front. So I sit in the back with my little mobile desk and tap away on that. And that actually is really good because I find not having the internet is amazing sometimes.
But you started writing when you were on maternity leave. I know so much about you when you were on maternity leave for your 3rd child, right?
That is correct.
Yes. So what was the difference then?
It's weird actually because when you're writing your first book and you don't have a deal, you don't know if it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's quite hard to carve out the time to write when you think it's just a silly hobby that won't end up anywhere. And so I got into this routine where I was quite militant about it, which sounds nuts now. I don't know how I did because I'm really miserable now when I have to work in the evenings. But I'd put the kids down, then it was always 8 till 10. Those were the 2 hours I had to sit and write, and it really helped because I knew I had to sit there for those 2 hours, and sometimes I would come away with like 20 words, and other times it'd be going really well and I would carry on past. But it was always like my logic was kids down, quickly eat, 8 till 10 work, half an hour of something on an episode of something, and then sleep. And I kind of got
that
into
is impressive.
But thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I really tried.
I think I just really wanted it. I think that's what, whenever people ask how to do it when you've got young kids, I say you have to really want it. Because for me, that was giving up a glass of wine in front of Netflix to sit and write. Because in my head, because obviously always drowning in mother's guilt, I was like, if I've avoided spending lovely time with my children to write my little story that no one will ever see, I'll feel quite rubbish about it. Whereas if I've just given up my own free time, then that's just me having missed out on watching more Netflix, and there'll always be more. So that was
a good way to think of it.
And it was actually nice because there was no time pressure because I didn't have a deadline because it was just for me. I could take as long as I wanted, and so I just I just potted around writing it for a bit.
And how long did it take you, that first novel?
About 10,000 words, and I thought, okay, now I've got far enough along here, I need to make this a thing. Like, I've got to work out what I'm doing. And I signed up for the Faber Academy writing a novel course.
Yes.
It was online, 7 months, and every 2 weeks you had to post 2,000 words of your work to get ripped to shreds by your classmates, which was quite brutal. But it was really great because, first of all, it had that structure where I was like, every 2 weeks I have to have an amazing 2,000 words that I don't mind people critiquing. So it made you really focus. Like, it wasn't just shitty first draft stuff. You were like, this has to be good. And then it also got you used to people just being really rude about what you've done
and just developing that thick skin.
Yeah. And so for me, that course completely, I don't think I could have written that book without it, because it gave me the structure I needed. And because I'd signed up to do it, I was like, I have to do this homework. So it kind of, again, justified this whole excuse for spending time on it. And apart from the fact it obviously taught me a lot, and the tutor was amazing, and it was great. And because it was meant to be, the title of the course was the first 15,000 words, but I worked beyond that. So I'd be doing my 2,000 words every couple of weeks, but then I'd be writing on. And so by the end of those 7 months, I had a fully finished first draft. By complete luck, at that precise moment, I had this fully finished first draft. I happened to see a mention of the Richard and Judy Search for a Bestseller competition. And I looked at the criteria and I was like, wow, I actually, you could never have been published before. You couldn't have an agent. I think that was literally it.
Wow.
You had to have a certain number of words done already. And I was like, I can apply. So I applied, and I was like, this is just, one of those things. Obviously, millions are gonna, there's no chance. And so it was amazing when I found out I came second. And they said, God, you haven't won, but we want to publish you anyway. And that's how I got my first 2-book deal.
Oh, I see. And that got you a lit agent, and that got you the publishing deal.
Yeah.
Did you get to meet Richard and Judy?
Never did. I think that was saved just for the winner. That's
what do you know who the winner was?
I'm actually doing a panel with her on Saturday, so she's done amazingly. She's done amazing. So it's been really nice, actually, knowing we both started that way.
And what about when you're looking for an idea? Like, are there specific things you look to for inspiration? A lot of your books, at least, are set around the soft place where my soul dies. Yeah. And you found your inspiration in that world of...
Definitely for my first 2 books, because they're about, a female assassin returning from maternity leave. So it's the whole crossover of being a working mum and killing people and wanting to die while you're at soft play because it's so awful. I think that, because the whole idea for those books came up with me being really bored looking after my children and trying to find a way to make it interesting. I think that's why I came up with all the... that my everyday life was inspiring, because I was like, you've got to find the funny in here, you've got to find the deadly humour in here, you've got to do something that makes it. And it was just, that is what started on my phone. I'd make little jotty notes like formula mistaken for cocaine, or breast pump mistaken for torture device, and all that kind of stuff I did jot down on my phone, and they all made their way into the book. But then since those books, I'd say, inspiration I find anywhere. It can be a funny person, or you just imagine a funny situation, or I wrote one script where my friends were talking about how when they get back to their house, they've parked the car and they're just sitting in the car behind the steering wheel and they just don't want to get out of the car yet.
I love that bit.
Face their family at home, and they just sit there just going, okay, I've got to brace. And I just thought that was such a... So I wrote a script based from that idea of a woman just sitting in her car screaming at the wheel. Yeah. And sometimes one thing someone will say will strike a chord, and you'll be like, oh, I could totally picture that happening.
And so from the seed of that idea, how do you go about sort of like expanding on it?
But I find one really strong image like that really helps, because I'm like, now what's she screaming about? What's happened? And I think from that I had this totally speculative fiction idea about a woman using VR to escape her terrible life, and it can go off in the most bizarre way.
Yeah. And from then on, how do you sort of plot meticulously, or are you kind of I'm just going to write and write and write when it comes to books?
I do. So my 3rd book, I wrote that really fast, which was amazing, because...
How long?
My first draft took 3 months, which, I know, it was pretty...
That is...
But I was militant about it. I knew I had limited time to do it, and that I had planned it out quite... much more planned than any of my other books, I'd say. But with all of these things, I start writing and I kind of find a rhythm. And if I've written a chapter and my vague plan is like, oh, this is meant to happen next, I'm like, no, we're not there yet. Something else needs to happen, or
Right.
I need to blow something up because this has got a bit slow. Or I would say I'm definitely more. I mean, there are some authors who are amazing. They can plot chapter by chapter, point by point, everything. And I think life must be so much easier. Whereas I have a very vague, we're talking one piece of paper idea.
Oh, right. And so you don't even have like, this
go.
is what's going to happen in this chapter. And
No,
this is...
God, no. So, and so I just, because
okay.
I don't even know how long the chapters will be. Or again, I just
Yes.
go by, oh, I'm a bit bored now, I should start a new chapter kind of
Right.
thing.
So I love
So
that.
I kind of just wing it.
Wow, that is really...
I always have, and I literally don't know any other way of doing it. And I find half of my ideas don't come until I start writing, and I'm noticing that something's lacking, and I'm like, oh,
there needs to be another thread there.
Yeah,
or something.
exactly. So,
but you basically just start the idea with a beginning, middle, and end.
Yes, or for example, for Serial Killer, that idea for that book came with a very strong image of a married couple out in the woods somewhere, circling each other with a pair of hunting knives, screaming at each other.
Yes, which is the
someone locked in the boot of their car, and I had no idea who was in the boot of their car. What I didn't know any of the. I just had this really strong image, and so I start the book with that as a flash forward. And then, and that, because that's how I started the whole process. I was like, this is where it begins. Now I've got to work out everything that leads up to them having this moment, because I've decided this is how I want to begin the book.
Very image inspired, obviously.
Very image inspired.
Maybe you should direct as well.
Oh God, I'm not clever enough for that.
So you've now moved into screenwriting as well.
Yes, I have.
And is that more fun? Because they're shorter.
That I have to say is a major excitement for me. There is something quite daunting when you're sitting down to write a book, knowing you're aiming for 80,000 words. That's it's not something that is going to come easily. So no, I love scripts. I suppose because I write quite visually anyway. To me, it feels quite natural. And no, I'm really enjoying it. And the thing that makes me laugh though is it makes publishing actually look fast. But other than
it's so true, which is crazy. Because you have such distinct characters as well. Obviously, A Serial Killer's Guide to Marriage is in my head because I've just read and listened to it. And we were just talking before about how she's so likable because she's not likable. She's just like someone you'd enjoy to hang out with. And I guess you're not used to seeing that in a main character because they're usually, you're sort of forced to make them appealing.
Yes, and that's such a thing, especially for women. You're meant to, there feels like there's more pressure for a woman to be likable in books. And I just wrote as my main thought for her was just she was a woman who didn't give a fuck, and I thought that was a really liberating place to start from, because a lot of the time, I don't know, all of us, especially women, we care about what people think. And it's really hard to shake that off and not and just do whatever we want, say whatever we want without panicking a bit more than men perhaps do. And I loved that her whole attitude was, I'll do what I want, I'll say what I want, and that's just me, and everyone else can deal. And I think writing a character like that is very liberating but she does come across as a bit of a bitch because she doesn't care, perhaps.
And she kills people.
Oh, there's also that, but at least they deserved it.
They're baddies, so no, it's good. There was a lot of feminist rage, I thought, underneath it all as well.
Yeah, it's very. I think that's why I made a conscious decision. Actually, I've never killed women in any of my books. I'm just too squeamish, and I feel women die enough in real life. So I've never. And obviously, in straight crime, it is mostly female victims because they're reflecting real life. But it's just something. I don't know. Maybe it's something I've never done as a writer because I'm I find it more interesting to kill men because you can actually. And I suppose as a kind of comedy thriller writer, there is more room for entertainment in it, which sounds bleak and slightly ridiculous. But the way women have to kill to get around the fact that they're normally shorter and weaker than a man, you have more kind of scope for making it a bit more of an interesting way of doing it,
jape.
rather than just wandering up and strangling a man to death. So that's why in Serial Killer they are serial killers, but they only kill bad men. There's no kind of scantily clad woman who's been horribly murdered. And also, to be honest, I thought if the way the book is centered is on them as a couple and their relationship and them as individuals, to make them sympathetic, I found it was going to be much harder if they were killing women. Even if they were bad women, it just felt more, especially for Fox as the man, like it would feel it would feel a little weighed in his favour and not as much of a statement as them trying to even the scales of men to make up for everything.
And I love, it was obviously a conscious decision how yin and yang they were as well.
Yes, so, fire and ice, I like saying.
Oh yeah, perfect. Did you find her first and say, that'll be a really fun character?
Yes,
and then did you sort of find him in the opposite of her?
That was exactly it. I just thought she was very loud to me, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do with her. And then I thought, who is a good foil for a character like this? And I love the bit where she's offered a crisp and she takes the whole packet and finishes it. That just one image, I was like, if I was out, especially in that world of like, you know, school mum friends, which you make when you have little ones, and then you start to go out with these women you don't really know, and you're doing a lot of, I'm normal, I will be normal in front of your child, you can feel safe leaving your child with my child to play. To do something like that, just that one image. Then I think what I always find interesting is how much, like so many of us, when we're doing the whole mummy baby and kind of entering that world of parenthood and having to socialise with other mothers, everyone was so worried about doing the wrong thing, saying the wrong thing, what people think of them. And it's kind of that hilarious thing where I've had people say how much they relate to Hayes at these groups going, yeah, I mean, I felt like a complete outsider, I didn't know what I was doing. And the irony is like most people feel like that. But we all think we're the only one who doesn't know what they're doing and they're going to say something wrong. And we're all just kind of struggling through it going, I have no idea. And I kind of, that's what I like for Hayes and her best friend Jenny, is the fact they met because they both felt like real outsiders.
And that was a great scene in the sort of Monkey Music. There's been so many times I've been in Monkey Music and been like, am I depressed?
Yeah.
Because everyone seems to be having a really fun time and this is like so awful to me.
Yeah.
And then I haven't finished it yet, but I have just got to the bit of David and Georgie, the in love couple.
Yes.
Did you have a 10-year anniversary party where you had pictures of yourself up? Yeah.
What? Yeah, I did. You weren't invited.
Oh yeah, exactly.
No.
That would be
I'm
hard.
definitely going to have one now.
Oh no, you have to. It was so good.
Well, you know, they were so inspiring to me.
I know.
I was trying to
Just
explain
like,
to someone.
that hateful couple.
It was, I honestly, I remember it so clearly. We were in your house and we were having a coffee, and then David came in and was like, okay, so I'm off. And he came up and they had this like passionate kiss goodbye, and it was like face cupping and like, see you. I was like, yeah, bye. And I was like, oh God, how long is he away for? She's like, oh no, he's just going to work. I was just like, what? I'm just like, who are you
so
people?
True.
How
it's
are you
so
so
true.
happy?
I know. You do get... And so a typical writing day, give me like yesterday, were you writing yesterday?
Was I writing? Yes, I was writing yesterday.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's term time, school.
Very militant. Yeah, term time, school time. I find I love the structure. You know, the kids are out,
good.
The house is empty, blitz, and then deal with the onslaught when they come back.
That's good. So you actually thrive. It's not like cutting off a creative flow. You actually thrive in those
I really
set
do,
hours.
because I think it helps knowing it's going to end. So you've got to make the most of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I still find like hours to scroll the internet looking at utter rubbish. But you know how I justified to myself the other day. I was like, it's just part of my process. I was like,
but maybe
I
that's
write a
true.
bit, scroll a bit, WhatsApp a bit, and then I go back to it. But
yeah, it seems more romantic if a writer says, and then I just go for a walk and look in the trees and don't think of anything.
No, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah,
no.
You're just like, I disassociate on my phone.
That's exactly it.
That's kind of it.
And then in fairness, I mean, this is me really reaching here, but if you are scrolling on Instagram and you have these little snippets of like, you know, I get a lot of trailers or little things from a drama or this or that, I'm like, that's really interesting because that got my attention for like 90 seconds, and this is what's happened, and they drew me in just like that, so I will channel that until I'm
well yeah, and especially for writing for the screen. I mean, now it's all, we were saying the other day how a lot of dramas are starting with a car chase or someone's killed, and then they're like 3 months early, but it's just to hook you in straight away.
No, I had a meeting the other day and they said it's the 7-second rule or something. They said you've got to basically have hooked a viewer in within 7 seconds.
You got to have the minute hook, the 7-second hook. What could our 7-second hook?
Get your boobs out.
Keep watching.